Maite, President, welcome to Israel. Thank you very much.
This is how we also say hi in our sweet language, the Guarani. It is a pleasure, Nicole, to speak to you once again.
Thank you very much. This whole trip has been exciting and intense, only 48 hours. You visited the main spots in Israel with the presence of most of the main Israeli political figures, and they were all very emotional from your speech in the Knesset. What motivates all of this energy that you brought from Paraguay to Jerusalem?
What motivates me is a people of over 6 million people in Paraguay who have a centuries-old consolidated faith in a process of discovery and construction of a society that had to face adversity, like a terrible war that was the War of the Triple Alliance, a war of extermination lived by Paraguay and had to rebuild Paraguay, rebuild its lands. We know the pain that is represented to a nation. So throughout the last few years, Paraguay has demonstrated a huge closeness that for some, it's hard to understand, even more to those who do not know history. But Paraguay was a decisive vote in the creation of the State of Israel. Paraguay was one of the countries that followed the measures taken by the United States in 2017 to open an embassy in Jerusalem. We opened it in 2018. Unfortunately, internal political differences made the embassy be returned again to Herzliya. But when I went out campaigning, when I listened to the Paraguayan people in rural areas, in the cities, all of them asked me, be close to Israel, be close to Israel. So, in reality, this is the request and sentiments of a nation, a whole people to which we, the rulers, are messengers. I bring the message of Paraguay, a land that admires the Jewish people and Israel, and in these difficult moments, we want you to feel accompanied, that you don't feel alone.
Many times the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said, my good friend Santiago Peña. To see the Prime Minister have this reaction in a country under a very complex situation of war, what did he share with you? What message did he convey?
I had the opportunity to meet him for the first time when he did his first visit to South America. He was in Argentina in 2017. It was a really historical visit. We already had taken the decision to move the embassy. Then I had the opportunity to meet him without a role, because in my first meeting I was the Ministry of the Economy and him Prime Minister. But when I visited Israel 3 years ago, he was a Knesset member and I was a civilian dreaming about the possibility of becoming President of the Republic. And I believe we are both passionate about public service and history. He is a great connoisseur of history, and I am passionate about the history of Latin America and Paraguay in particular. So in this meeting, we could reflect about the challenges that our generation faces. What are we fighting for? How different were the fights of past generations? And the truth is, I believe we are both convinced that this is a fight worth fighting for, that it doesn't matter how hard it is, this is the correct way. For me, it is very important as a young person, form a country that desperately needs to advance, progress, develop, but we know that this development cannot come at any price because along the way, someone will have to pay this price. So I believe it is a very important experience beyond the leadership of the Prime Minister or the President or the Speaker of the Knesset. For us, this is the message for the people of Israel. You are not alone. We had the opportunity to speak to many survivors of the October 7th attacks with parents of boys who went to the war and did not manage to return. And I believe all these testimonials are felt very close to us. For a country that also lived a war of extermination, of intolerance, that we unfortunately didn't want to exist. But as human beings, we are fighting it. We have to fight it.
As you have mentioned, Israel is facing a war against terror, Iran and its proxies. One of them, Hezbollah, has a significant presence in Latin America, in Paraguay, at the Triple Frontier. What intelligence deals between Paraguay and Israel are being crafted to combat this?
Our visit clearly also looks to strengthen a bilateral agenda. We already had a relation, but we want to take it to a totally different field. Way more ambitious in the economic field. We believe Paraguay has much to offer to Israeli companies. We believe that on the security field, Paraguay has much to work on, and Israel has to pay more attention to South America. We are collaborating, but there is still much more to be done. I believe that the two main plagues are the organized crime and drug trafficking. Paraguay is not a main producer or consumer of drugs, but it is in the center of South America. We are an important logistical center, and this attracts these criminal activities, which we are fighting against decisively. We have also put forward the possibility to engage in a wider collaboration and cooperation agenda in the fields of defense and security, as well as in the economic field.
Now, I wanted you to say something in Guarani, like, I love you, Israel.
Rohaihu Israel. Te quiero Israel.
We will value these couple days here. It has been amazing. We brought a very broad delegation of different sectors of Paraguayan society, and we took everything with a huge affection and caring, and with desire to return at once. A few months ago, we said, this year in Jerusalem, today we want to invite all Israelis to come to Paraguay in the next year.